Today we are in Bethel with the definition of a connector. Our guest is Meryl Kelly, the force behind A Longer Table Homestead. She left Western Maine for culinary school in San Francisco, worked in serious farm-to-table kitchens, and then came back and started linking local farms to restaurants, markets, and home cooks. In this episode, we get into her honor system farm store, her long table dinners in the fields, the infamous list that chefs rely on, and how she is building a business that actually supports farmers and feeds her community. Make sure you subscribe to our show on Apple, YouTube, and Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. And now, a message from our sponsor.
Hi, I'm Simon Griffiths, President and CEO of Camden National Bank. Camden National Bank is celebrating 150 years of standing beside the people, businesses, and communities that make Maine and New Hampshire home. And at the heart of it all is you. Every step of the way has been made possible because of your support. Even as we've grown, one thing has remained: our deep commitment to the communities we serve. We're not just here to offer financial guidance. We're here to show up, lend a hand, and be a true partner through life's big moments and everyday milestones. We're especially grateful to Maine Famous for shining a light on the local businesses and neighbors who shape the heart of the mountains regions in Maine. Thanks for being part of our story.
Okay, yes. Well, I think it's a no-brainer that we're here with Meryl today. Anyone in the region, I think, would agree. In fact, when I was talking about the fact that we were going to be interviewing Meryl, so many people were so excited. I feel like we have a lot in common in terms of being connectors with our respective businesses, with her business connecting farms to different restaurants and individuals and farmers markets and all of that great work, and also on the culinary events side of the equation, which I'm sure we'll hear more about. But we're so excited to be with you here today at Modern Barn in Bethel. And yeah, let's dive into this conversation. It's going to be a good one.
Can't wait. There's a lot to cover, Meryl. You and I had a previous conversation, and I captured so many beautiful quotes that you said to describe your journey as a Mainer. You were a lifelong Mainer, and then you were like, I'm out of here.
Totally.
Let's start there.
Yeah, I highly recommend anybody who grows up in Maine should leave Maine for a little bit, kind of take in the world, and then come back with whatever it is that had inspired them elsewhere. Very dedicated Mainer, which is shocking because I hate the cold, but I do love it here, and I love the community, and I love that we've seemed to maintain like a lot of small town vibes, which is I think really special. And we get like so much in one package here in Maine. We have the coast, we have the mountains, we have like the middle of the woods, nowhere. And then we have like a couple little cities that people seem to enjoy. But yeah, I went out to San Francisco for a little while and worked in the industry out there. I did a very short stint in Utah, not for me. And then I came back to Maine, and it was like I really appreciated kind of the slow pace. Mm-hmm. After not living a slow pace for so long, I came back and was like, oh no, I like this. This is really quite nice.
Mm-hmm. So, I relate to that.
Yeah.
I lived in Boston for a while. I lived in New Hampshire. And then I felt when I would come back to visit, just my nervous system would reset and recalibrate. And I was like, I need to be here all the time. And it took me 20 years almost to get back to Maine once I left, but I couldn't be happier to be back. And I don't think you referenced, you went to the California Culinary Academy.
I did.
And that kickstarted. Did you always know you love food?
Well, I grew up in Oxford Hills, which is like the next town over, and I did their culinary arts program. They have a tech school that's incorporated into their high school, which was like a godsend for kids like me who like maybe don't enjoy classrooms so much. It was nice to have like a hands-on thing to do, and I just ended up being really good at it. And that's just been my personality. If I'm good at something, I'll just stick with it. And so, yeah, I mean, so I got into a bunch of culinary schools, but I think I was really interested in going to the West Coast. I mean, it's very important in the food industry, at least here in America. And I was kind of fascinated by just the idea of getting a completely different change of pace and world and be like away from everybody I knew. So I went that direction out to San Francisco and immediately started working for a jardiniere restaurant out there, which was really kind of paradigm shifting for me, where they were very into farm to table and pretty entrenched in the whole slow food movement out there. And I got really into it. And I wasn't even working in back of the house. I was working front of the house, but they were like, oh yeah, like go get the honey on the roof from our bees. Or she had taken, the dishwashers to one of the farms that we sourced from so that they could talk to them in Spanish and be like, is this a nice place to like work? Do you enjoy it here? And so they would report back and be like, yeah, work with this farm, don't work with this farm. And I just loved the relationships that were being kind of born of that just love for food and love for nurturing people. And it's just stuck with me ever since and has been kind of a guiding principle.
When you talk about slow food, just for like people like my mom who are listening, hi mom, she is not going to know what you mean by slow food. Can you explain a little bit?
Yeah, so it's probably for her generation, it's just like food. Yeah, so it's just like from scratch cooking, just like a concept that like less fillers, more wholesome ingredients, more simple preparation, and kind of a breaking free of that convenience food where we're just like cramming things in our face and running out the door, like a moment to sit and enjoy and kind of take part in a meal as opposed to just doing it for function.
Well, San Francisco is so similar to Norway and Oxford
Norway,
Hills.
Maine, yeah.
The Oxford Hills area, right?
So aligned.
Well, I was actually curious about, but you answered that question about why you chose, you got accepted to a number of different culinary programs, but decided that the West Coast was where you wanted to go. Did you have in your head a sense that you would be returning to Maine? Or did you think you were going to go out there and fall in love with the whole environment and stay?
Yeah, I for sure didn't think I wanted to come back to Maine. I think high school in Maine for a kid that doesn't like winter is pretty unpleasant. And, I grew up in Norway, and at that point, there really wasn't much that I aligned with in kind of any regard. Like even the kitchens that I worked in, it was like a lot of like, fry this, put it on the plate, one squeeze of lemon, a little parsley. It's great. So like I wasn't dying to be in that position. It's like, I think back of the house is the hardest job ever if you're not super into it. Like if you're not doing something creative, I don't know how people sustain that job for 30 years and not be like incredibly passionate about what they're putting on the plate. I think that's heroic work. Personally, I could never. So yeah, I definitely did not expect to come back to Maine. I don't think I appreciated it because I was just in it all the time.
Was there an aha moment that led you to the decision to return?
No. No, I would say it was like a necessity where I was just like burning the candle at both ends in the West Coast and just like needed a moment to decompress. And I really came back thinking I would just do a summer in Lincolnville. I worked at Tanglewood.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is a 4-H camp in Lincolnville, Maine, for people who don't know. It's amazing. You should go there. But yeah, I went to do one summer. I just fell so in love with the whole area, like Midcoast. I loved Midcoast so much, and really enjoyed just my time back and the pace again. And also like it felt at that time that like so many little things were popping up all over the place. Like it felt like fertile ground, where in San Francisco, like you had to be like crazy all the time, working 80 hours a week to just keep up with like the basic, where here it was like, oh no, I can move a little slower and still build things, and kind of collectively we're all kind of doing something at the same time.
Well, so in a previous conversation that you and I had, you did mention that when you got back here after you went to the Midcoast, you were out for a fateful concert, a fateful evening at a concert in New Hampshire, and you happened to stop at
Salt and Libby's.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was actually coming back from a Grateful Dead concert in Worcester, Massachusetts, and I was pretty rough around the edges at that moment, feeling like I could not be in the car for a second longer. And we were like, where can we eat? And like we were going through Gorham, New Hampshire, and we passed McDonald's, and I'm like, I'd rather die. Like, I'm good. And then we saw this restaurant that had a little open sign, and we're like, well, what's that place? Never seen that place before, because it's only 30 minutes away. So I would have expected to have heard of it, but I didn't. And we went in, and I can't remember. Oh, no, I do know exactly what I ordered. I ordered a chowder, and it was like this mountain of mashed potatoes with chowder around it. And I was like, oh, this is interesting plating for Gorham, New Hampshire. And then I took a bite, and I was like, can I have a job? Can I work here, please? I was like, this is amazing. I was so pumped. I was like, literally like over my table, just like
ordering everything off the menu.
Ordering everything and just being like in heaven. And they called me the next day and gave me a job, and then I ended up being their manager for quite some time, and still very dear friends. I was actually chatting with her about her new menu yesterday and what we can source. I got beef for her in my fridge that she's picking up today. So
great.
Yeah, it's great. It's a really good relationship. And Liz Jackson is the owner, chef person there. She's James Beard, I think, either award winner or she was a nominee. I can't quite remember. But yeah, again, very into farm to table, very into worldly flavors. So we just meshed so well. And she's actually the one who took me to Italy, and she took me to a farm to table that she put on for one of her farmers, which was Meadowstone Farm. And at that farm to table, I was like, oh, I like farm to tables. I like eating in fields. This is for me. And then in Italy, we went to this restaurant where
I think you said it was a life-changing meal.
It was absolutely life-changing meal. We just like sat down. No one spoke English. Fabulous. They brought wine, and then they just started like bringing dishes to our table, and they're like, eat this. And I was just like, this is incredible. I didn't have to make a single decision. It was so relaxing. I was just like, this is what America needs. Like somewhere for people to truly unplug and just be like enjoying the moment with their friends. And like we were just laughing and drinking and eating. And I'm like, perfect. This is perfection. So that kind of always stuck with me.
And I think you told me that they brought one bottle of red, one bottle of white, one bottle of olive oil, and that was it.
That's it. Yeah. So, and then they're like, do it.
And they want you to eat. I mean, my grandparents, Guido and Giovanna, it's like, you better be eating. And if you don't eat at least multiple like helpings, you're a failure. Like on a diet or something in their world. And I'm just
Are you sick?
Yes, no, exactly. What's the matter with you? Eat.
It was perfect. It was so incredible. And the region that we were staying in, we stayed in Foligno, but we were like visiting all the towns around Foligno, which is it's called the Green Heart of Italy. So like every little town has its thing that it's like known for. So like you could go into one town and they were like, oh, we do the best prosciutto, and everyone's so proud of their prosciutto. You go and there's another person, they do wine, and then the next town like cheese is their thing, and then the next town it's like beading. The next town it's just like it's the coolest thing.
So it's interesting to hear you talk about the experiences dining wise, which kind of like also continued to fuel your passion for farm to table and all of that. I'm curious about how it sort of then transitioned to you. Was it meeting farmers or knowing that there are all of these beautiful small, whether it's organic farms or micro farms in the sort of agritourism world, that then led you to say, geez, not enough people know about what they're doing and what they're growing and how delicious their food is. How did that evolve in your mind and in your work?
And it started the list, like this.
How the list started.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to hear that story about how the list started and you know what kind of criteria in your head you use in putting a farm on your list.
On my list, yeah. My snootiness. You want to know about how snooty I am? Sure.
Yeah, actually.
So it started because, so farming and ecology, that's all been like a huge part of my life since kind of getting turned on to it in San Francisco, and then really having that solidified through 4-H working at Tanglewood. And so when I moved to the Bethel area, I was kind of like looking for something in the food world to be involved with, to like meet people.
Mm-hmm.
And Local Food Connection was something that I had heard about. It's an organization, and the whole goal is just to connect people to food. And I was like, yeah, that sounds amazing. Like, I'm all about that. So I went to this meeting. It was like 3 or 4 of us at the time. And we just talked about food. And I was pretty impassioned with that. And at the time I lived in Greenwood, and we didn't have a farmer's market.
The home of LL Bean.
The home of LL Bean. I was actually working at the Hub, which is truly the former home of LL Bean.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I was working at the local Hub, and
Dara's restaurant.
So Dara and Michelle owned it at the time, but the kind of genesis of the local Hub having kind of farm to table-y vibes was definitely the Bartletts, Janet and Nick Bartlett, who now, I guess they don't own the grocery store, but they did for a little bit.
Yeah.
But anyways, so all the farmers were always coming in and out of the local Hub, so I had forged a pretty good relationship with some of them. And we're like, we should have a farmer's market here because there's no farmer's market. And, we want to meet our farmers. And so we tried to cram everybody into the local Hub. It was sweaty, to say the least. It was far too small of a space. And so I went to our town manager in Greenwood, who is the best. Her name is Kim Sparks. And I said, hey, can we use that dilapidated old town hall building to make a farmer's market? She's like, absolutely. Like, didn't even ask any questions. Was just like, yes. She's the kind of town manager you like. But anyways, so we started the farmer's market there. I continued to have like great relationships with the farmers. And then I ended up getting my job at Salt and Libby. So I kind of like phased out of doing work over here because I was all in there. But part of that all in was kind of, I don't know if perhaps illegally bringing food across the border to Salt and Libby's. So we brought lamb and mushrooms. I was Shady Grove mushrooms first.
Smuggling lamb across the Maine border.
Smuggling food across the Maine border. Horrible stuff. I know. I'm like a real felon. So yeah, I started just kind of moving people's products, and I really enjoyed doing that. And then COVID happened, and everything was like, Arr! So Salt and Libby's closed, and I needed a new job. And I follow my mouth wherever I
love
must
that.
work. Like, I have no interest in working anywhere that I can't eat good food at.
Oh.
So obviously I went to Salvin Elise.
Are we sisters
I know,
somehow?
maybe we might be. Honestly, when I first saw you and like what you were doing, I'm like, missed the boat on that one. Like, that's the best job ever. So I went to Salvin Elise, and I was like, hey, I'd love to work for you guys. And again, next day called me, hired me.
Salvin Elise own Lemieux Eats.
Yeah, Lemieux Eats, which is down here on the road.
Okay.
Everybody needs to go to Lemieux Eats.
Okay.
Facts. And so I started working for them, and then became their manager, which is like a bad habit of mine. I become people's managers immediately. Like, I don't even want to. I told them, and like I was like, I want a really low key job. I just want to be the person who like puts the stuff in the bag and passes it out the window. Immediately became their manager. And
can I ask you a question about that? So Lemieux Eats used to be a food truck over here next to Steam Mill Brewing Company when it was at its original location, and then ended up in their brick and mortar space. And we did a private chef and hospitality dinner there years ago. And I was curious because they had a booklet at that dinner with profiles on every farm of all of the ingredients that were sourced in the creation of that dinner that night. And I assume, of course, Elise and Sav are obviously so focused on sourcing locally, but I wonder if that booklet was like your brainchild, or was it,
So it's my like work child. Like, I sourced all of that food, but Elise is the type A, put it in a booklet, laminate it, get it pretty. Like, that is her shtick. She lives for it.
So she wanted everybody to see the booklet and then see the food and taste the food. And so it was a really cool way to support the knowledge of connecting those
Totally.
dots. Yeah.
But that really, Sav and Elise are the genesis of the list, in all honesty, because I got pregnant, and shockingly, I did not want to work in a food truck pregnant because it's hot and people were really mean during COVID. So I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. And so me being the spoiled brat that I was, went up to Sav and Elise and were like, hey, can I just source for you guys? Can that be my job? And they said yes. And I was like, oh, cool. And so we started working together, and we were looking at the menu, figuring out where I could get things. And again, pulling from like years of sourcing for other places and the farmers markets, and just being generally an eater. I had known plenty of farmers. So we were doing like, gosh, I think at the height of my sourcing for Sav and Elise, we were doing like 30 vendors or something like that a week. Like it was pretty
That's
cool.
incredible.
It was pretty cool. Like
30 vendors, where are they? Are they all
Yes.
around Maine? Are they within a 10-mile radius of
they're
Bethel?
definitely
Tell me.
mostly in Oxford County. I had a couple in New Hampshire, and those were pretty inconsistent. But I would say as far as Shelburne, New Hampshire, this way, as far as was it Roxbury that way, like Hartford over there, and then as far as Denmark that way.
Driving and picking that stuff up
Yeah.
and bringing it to the
Yeah.
restaurant.
So
So you put some miles on the vehicle. And
Yeah.
that's
she's still
including
driving right now.
wow.
mushroom foragers, the fiddlers, the fiddleheaders, all of
Fiddleheads,
that.
yeah, all the things. So I was like doing that round once a week, and I was like, this
Wow.
is insane. Nobody would do this, like, personally. Like most people wouldn't do this to do their groceries, but the food product was so good, and I was meeting all the farmers, and it was so nice. Like, pick up my milk, and I'd pat a cow, and I'd be like, oh, this is lovely.
Yeah.
And so because I'm a little
And those farmers, the foragers, all of them, they must have just been so elated to have you coming and sourcing their beautiful food and bringing it to the restaurants. I mean,
Yeah.
tell us about how, like, did they ever say, oh my gosh, we're so grateful for what you all are doing?
Yeah, my farmers are really good to me.
Yeah.
They're really, really good to me. I love them so much. And anytime I'm in a bind or something's going on, like no one shows up like a farmer. They're the best.
And it's hard work.
And it's hard work. And the thing is, restaurants and farmers, it's not necessarily a marriage made in heaven. It's a difficult one because they're both the busiest people in the world. One of them is a night person and one of them is the morning person. It's not very good. Not a very good combo. And frankly, like, in order for a restaurant to make money, they have to watch their margins. And in order for a farmer to make money, they have to sell their product, ideally at retail. So that's where I felt like I knew enough about both worlds to kind of be a bridge to say, like, okay, eggs are really high right now. You don't have to use local eggs. Use conventional eggs. That's fine. But let's focus on vegetables that farmers need to move. Let's do daikon.
Very smart.
Do turnip. So like find ways to make it work for both of them where perhaps that conversation wouldn't have been had because of just the different schedules and the just insane amount of busyness. Both of them are. So like I could be the sounding board and kind of like think, okay, like here's your goals, where do they overlap? And so that's more the commercial side of it. And for restaurants, I think that's really important because like you also don't want to make it so, especially in a small town, that things are so expensive that like your local people can't go and eat. Like that's no fun.
Do you ever get farmers like calling you and saying, can we be part of your list? And can you come and, but maybe they're outside of like a reasonable driving radius to make it work.
Yeah, totally. I've definitely met like, is it Liberty Farm Duck? Is that them? No, not Liberty Farm. Who's the duck person that, who is Long Grains Duck Farm?
Oh gosh. That's a good question. I should know that.
They have sheep. rotating
North,
sheep.
well, not North Star Farm, because that's a sheep farm.
It's like sheep, ducks, and then they have solar. They just put in a whole
I
solar
should know,
field.
but I
should
don't
know
think
too.
I know.
I should
Anyways,
not know.
I used to meet him in a parking lot in Lewiston, Auburn. So we like, yeah.
Because all these references of smuggling and meeting in parking lots.
I literally look like a drug dealer. I'm surprised people. I haven't been like cops been like, why are you always in parking lots with your trunk open and coolers? Like, what is
my
going on
God,
here?
so
No, I
funny.
definitely. It's Petrullo Farm before they got their thing wrapped with the thing. It was just a white van, and I'd be like, I need my pasta. So yeah, no, farmers definitely contact me to be on the list, and they definitely are like, hey, I just processed 2 cows, don't have enough freezers, help. And
Very cool.
So then I can kind of help them.
So you're a problem solver for all of these.
Just connector. I think what you said in the beginning is really true. And it's why I was kind of excited to be on this podcast, because I feel the same way about your job. Is like, you know, a rising tide carries all boats. And so, yeah.
It is a connector, but it's also deeper than that. It is being a problem solver. You're also brokering deals. You also bring your understanding of restaurants and farm life.
Yeah.
And you present this unique solution that no one else is able to do.
Yeah.
Is there anyone else in the state of Maine who does anything like you?
Yeah. So when I started, I really thought I was an innovator. I was like, wow, I'm amazing. Look at me go. But then I was like, I think there's one, what's it called? Like Farm Drop, I think is what it's called. Farm Drop is like, they do mid-coast. Everybody ignores Western Maine. We like don't exist to the rest of Maine.
Well, I don't think that's true, but I do think that it is important. I mean, I know, like, you know, I get clients and they just want to stay on the coast of Maine. And I'm like, you're going to be here for almost 2 weeks. Please. There's so much more to Maine, you know, to see. And this is also wonderful that April, you know, is doing these podcasts in Western Maine. And it is so important. So, yes.
Yeah, it's really, I love it. But Farm Drop is definitely very similar. They have a list, you order off the list, and then you go to a particular spot and you pick up your order.
Let's talk about a longer table homestead. I have to say, the former owner of the property that you currently reside on and have this special events on is Beth and Frank Walker, who are great friends, who also had a market and other, you know, creations that they would do there. And you are now the steward of that property.
Yeah.
And I know they're proud of that, and I'm sure you are as well.
I'm super proud of that. And I definitely don't. I always want to like give my flowers to Frank and Beth, because I certainly would not be in that property if they weren't so kind and lovely to me. And I've found that has happened in Bethel for me twice now, where my first home, it was like just a friend being like, oh my God, don't leave Bethel. I'll sell this house to you. And I was like, cool, thank you.
They had offers that were higher, right, than what you were able to pay for, they wanted you to take the property over, from what I understand.
They didn't even really put it on the market. Beth called me before she listed it. And she's like, listen, like, here's my bottom dollar. If you can hit my bottom dollar so I can move to my next step. Sorry. The one rule. So Beth said, here's my bottom dollar. If you can hit my bottom dollar, like, we'll sell this property to you. We want you to have it. We know you'll take care of it. And I was
doesn't happen anywhere
it
else
does
than
not.
Maine.
No.
Sorry.
It's like a neighbor thing. And again, it's happened to me twice, 2 separate times. And that's why like social capital is like a huge part of what I do. I really like the connections are deeper than just being like, oh, you should buy this from this person. It's like, these are my friends and I really want them to succeed.
So what is a longer table?
Yeah, so a longer table homestead. That is the new name of that property, and it is my home. And then also on the front of it is a market, and I have created just basically like an indoor farmers market where I'm pulling all of the same stuff from the list, but kind of setting it up so you can come in and shop all the farms in one foul swoop. So you don't have to take the 8-hour ride around town to get all the different things.
Honor system?
totally honor
Wow.
system, but we have cameras.
Honor system, but cameras.
But cameras. A little bit of honor. Yeah. And yeah, it's honor system, stocked weekly. We have taken Bath and Frank were big bakers, like Pop-Tarts. I still have total
can't.
strangers knocking on my door like, where are the Pop-Tarts?
She brought them to our wedding. I made her bring them to our wedding.
They're like, where? I know there's no frosting on anything out here. And I'm like, yeah, it's not
Or
what I
those
do.
raised donuts.
Yeah, like
I can't.
It's for me, like we have Gemini Cafe in town.
Yes.
We have Kathy de Coco. We have like 1,000 micro bakeries all over.
Yes.
There's no reason for me to be making bread or sweets. It's not my thing. Yeah, my husband has diabetes. I'm not trying to kill him. So anyways, so that's what that is, the market. And the market kind of feeds my ability to have my own grocery store because I'm a cooker.
When we talked, you were like, I hate grocery shopping, so I created a grocery shopping experience.
Yeah. I just
that
send
I
my son
wanted.
out, go pick out what you want for dinner.
That's awesome.
Does his thing. I definitely made that. I really wanted to make like a closed loop system there. So I have the catering. So I'd buy like in bulk. I'd feed my catering. I put the extra into the market. And then if ever anything makes it beyond being sellable in that regard, I can go out to the pigs or the compost and still has like a home somewhere there.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's what I try to work on, is just keeping everything kind of feeding itself.
And this has been, and then the dinners that you do farm dinners. So please talk about those and how people can,
I know, because
sign up.
people are going to be listening and they're going to be very excited to meet you
So awesome.
and want to work with you some way. So yeah, I want to take notes too. How can I come?
How can you come? So the farm to table dinners I do annually in the summertime. I usually do about 5, maybe 6 if I'm feeling froggy that year, because it's a lot of schlepping. But basically I partner with farms and try to recreate that Meadowstone Farm dinner that I had with Liz so many years ago. And we just use all of the ingredients straight from the farm, and then we set up in a field or under a pavilion or whatever the farm has available. We did one like up on the top of a mountain this year. That was fun.
And people can sign up.
Yeah. So the way you can sign up is I post a lot on Facebook. I'm like trying to not live in that world, but it's so hard.
Yeah.
And then I have a newsletter that you can sign up for, and you'll get kind of like first dibs on seats if you sign up for the newsletter.
Nice.
And
On your website, which is
I actually don't have a website.
Oh,
I know.
so how do they sign up for your newsletter?
Facebook.
Okay.
I don't. I actually, at my last farm to table dinner, I had someone come up to me at the end and he was like, do you want a website? I would be so happy to make you a website.
Take advantage of it.
I literally was like, yes, like not even a second thought. I'm like, yes, I'll feed you for the rest of your life. Please help me with that. I need it so desperately. But yeah, I find that happens to me a lot where like doors just open and I'm like, sweet, I'll take it.
And everyone in Maine shows up for each other. So
Yeah.
I think, in your life, you've seen that and
Yeah.
you pay that forward. And
Totally.
yeah.
Totally.
So here you have this, you've identified something you're really good at. You have created something that people really love. It has been kind of a hobby in your own words, but the next step is to turn it into a full business. What does that look like?
Yeah, it's a lot of reading state legislation.
Have fun.
It's
Did that for 20 years.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, just like figuring out what it is to actually make it a business. I think I've always kind of just gone with the flow, and now I'm kind of having to pull things in, make them a little tighter, be more thoughtful about how I put everything together. And I have an ambition one day to turn my barn into like a small restaurant that would kind of showcase that dinner, that extraordinary dinner in Italy that I have, having it be like very like bring all the food, bring the wine, enjoy yourselves, make no decisions kind of vibe. And I know that that's going to take a lot from me.
Do you mean
putting-
personally, emotionally, financially? What are the ways you mean?
Yeah, like all of those things. But financially, I think is the one that I'm most motivated by right now, which is a huge transition for me because I am such a passion forward person. Like I do it for the game, like I do it for the love. But that's not a sustainable way to go into business. So that's been a huge shift for me, is just trying to figure out like, okay, like in order to get to this step, I must meet these markers and I must kind of get these licenses and move things forward and get this equipment and maybe like have matching cutlery for once in my life. And so like that kind of stuff that really, or like even having a brand that I've been thinking a lot about, like having an actual brand instead of just like the brand being very specifically like me and what I like to do. So yeah, I think it's a huge learning curve for me. And again,
Exciting.
Very
yeah,
exciting.
it's super exciting. I'm really happy by the way things are going. I haven't done any advertising at all, but I seem to always have jobs because I also do catering at the mountain. I do a lot of like in-house personal chefing during the ski season. And I've done a couple lobster boils, but I never really understand why people want lobster in
the
Bethel.
mountain.
I'm like, don't you want short rib? Let's go.
So one thing I couldn't tell by your answer is, are you open to investors? If there is someone listening.
Yes, please.
Okay, good.
All the investors.
All the investors. Thank you.
Well, this has been such a wonderful interview. I don't want it to be over, but the time has come for us to talk about our sponsors for just a moment before we get into the lightning round. A big thank you and congratulations to Saddleback Mountain. They were just named the #1 ski resort in the East by Ski Magazine, and if you've been up there lately, you know why. Incredible terrain, a great community vibe, and year-round mountain fun. Whether you're skiing, riding, or just hanging out on the deck, Saddleback is the place to be. We also want to thank Harcourt Waterfront and Fine Properties. They specialize in exceptional homes across the Maine coast and lakes region, pairing global reach with true local expertise. And thank you to Morton and Furbish Vacation Rentals. Whether you want a cozy camp or a high-end home on the lake, they're the go-to team in the mountains. They make it easy to plan a stay that feels just right for your trip. And we're back. All right, Vanessa is going to start us off with your first lightning round question.
Okay. Maine is known for its fairs, festivals, etc. Are you Common Ground Fair, Maine Cheese Festival, Freiburg Fair? Let's hear it.
Oof.
Which one? You can only go to one.
Okay, I'm going to choose the Maine Cheese Festival because my wedding cake was blocks of cheese stacked on top of each other.
Oh, yes. I love
this
it.
detail.
It's my favorite festival,
All right.
too.
Oh,
It's great. And I also have my my bachelorette party there.
That's great. A Western Maine farm everyone should know about.
Oh, you're going to get me in trouble with this one. Patch Farm. Patch Farm does a really great job. Patch Farm is a Mafia certified farm over in Denmark, and they just get it done. Their product's great. They're just so giving and loving. I love them.
And MOFGA is the Maine Organic Farmers and Gardeners Association.
True.
I did for once. I knew something that Vanessa was referencing. One ingredient you are most excited about right now.
Oh, it's celeriac season. I'm all about celeriac.
What is celeriac?
I have a pet peeve about celeriac.
You do?
Yeah, purees. Too many.
Huh? Would you
Too many purees with that stuff on dishes. But go ahead.
Well, I like a roast on them personally.
Okay.
And I like a great, like a slaw, like a remoulade, because it's like punchy and delicious. I just get excited about celeriac because it, it's like falls here.
I've had it gratin
Celeriac.
style though, and that's been
Gratin
awesome, too.
style is great. I do like a puree, but I like it mixed into mashed potatoes just for like a little funk.
I'm going to have to go
Sorry.
Google this later.
That's so funny.
What is your favorite thing to cook when you're tired but still want something good?
Well, the thing that immediately came to my mind was pastini, which is just pasta and lemon and Parmesan cheese.
Ooh, okay.
It's my sad meal. It's
good.
delicious. And you put like broth in it. So it's like
Ooh.
the most comfortable, like it's like, I think they call it Italian penicillin, right?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, they call it Italian penicillin. It's so good.
You're really good at it. We should have had this whole interview in lightning round questions. We have 2 more. A local product on your market shelves you cannot live without.
These are great lightning round questions.
These are great lightning round questions. A local product on my shelves. Oh, Lendl Allen. He's Kitchen Lab at Green Lab Farm. He's like a little old man from Andover, Maine, and he makes these sourdough crackers that are phenomenal.
I need some of those.
They're
Okay.
so good.
Okay.
I'm stopping over at your place to go get
Please
some.
do.
Okay.
Last question. One thing that visitors get wrong about Western Maine.
Yes.
That it's only a ski destination.
Yep.
That's what they get wrong. They think so many times I'll see online, oh, Bethel, it's just like Sunday River's doormat. And it's so not true. There are so many people in this community doing so many cool things. And like, I would say the thing we struggle with most is just telling people about what's going on here. But the more you dig in, the more you're like, oh my gosh, there's all these very cool things happening. I write for Bethel Living magazine, and like, it's such a fun job because first of all, I get all the juice like before everyone else does. And it's just like writing puff pieces. Like you're just like, this place is amazing. This place is amazing. And I love it. It's shocking to me how much cool stuff is brewing. And I feel like this whole region is just like on the precipice of something really cool.
Great. And for our people who want to come to your market or to find you on Facebook, and you do have an Instagram,
I do.
where can they come?
Great question. So the market is at 104 Skillings Road in Bethel, Maine. And my Facebook is A Longer Table Kitchen and Catering. And my Instagram is, I think, A Longer Table Bethel.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
I can confirm that.
Yes.
Thanks. Great.
I think there are some underscores.
There's
in
some
there.
underscores.
But if you,
can
search
fi-
that,
yeah,
you'll
you can find
it.
me.
You'll find it. Thank you so much for being
Thank
on
you.
the show.
So fun.
Yes, I know.